Hey guys, it's controversial. Today I'm going to make a video about the We Was Kings meme and why it is stupid, and we're going to look at it from a historical perspective and just look at why this meme makes no sense and why anybody that would say this has no idea about anything about African history. So the whole We Was Kings meme started because of the whole Black Egyptian movement, and I'm a member of the Black Egyptian movement. Me and many others do agree. Not only black people, not only racist black supremacists, according to people like Phoenician 7, but many people agree. Yeah, they were Africans at some points and at many points. So, but I'm not going to talk about Egypt today, since I already talked about Egypt the last time I made a video. I'm gonna talk about the saying "We was kings." It's mocking black people saying we were kings. We were kings at, which I'm just gonna say this. Africans were kings. There has been many African kingdoms. There was the Ghana Empire, which was called Wakadu or Wakari, and it was a thing. And you also have the Mali Empire, which had Mansa Musa, the richest person in history. Then you also have Songhai, which come from East Africa. We know this because they speak a Nilo-Saharan language. Their language comes from the Nile of the Sahara, and they're black. They come from the Nile Valley, and they're black. They had a kingdom. There was a king called Askia. And we also can't forget Nubia. One of the oldest, or if not the oldest, civilization on the planet. You had the Abyssinian Empire. We have all these kingdoms I can name. You even had the Zulu kingdom down south. You even have kings today. Look at Lesotho. Lesotho's a thing. Alright? You had the Ajuran Empire. You can look at all these kingdoms. These were kingdoms. So when you're saying we was kings, mocking black people saying we was kings, you gotta understand, yes, there were African kings. There were African kingdoms. Alright? And the whole mocking black people, and then you want to call us, I'm gonna take some shots at Phoenician 7. He calls us he or she, I don't even know if it's a he or she, calls us Negrocentrics, which he wants to call, when he wants to call us racist Afrocentrists, and then he goes calling us Negrocentrists, which is a derogatory term towards black people. And then calling us idiots. I don't think you understand that you are a Phoenician. Phoenicians come from the Middle East. I believe you're Phoenician. Phoenicians come from the Middle East originally. Now, black people, African Americans, we come from Africa. Black Africans ourselves as a race, we have been all around the African continent. In fact, the oldest human remains ever found of a Homo sapien was found no other than in North Africa, and it bared strong sub-Saharan African features, the so-called sub-Saharan African features. So we're everywhere from Omo Kibish in Ethiopia all the way over to Jebel Irhoud, I think it's called Irhoud. That means that we had been somewhere in the middle. You have the Black Mummy, which is called the Black Mummy for a reason. You have all these, North Africa, you have the Nubians who were North Africans, who were from North Africa, and they were black, but we're going to act like no North Africans were ever black. We still have many North African ethnic groups that have African features, who have dark skin and woolly hair. I'm going a little Herodotus on here, but yeah, we have these kind of people. We have these people. We have kingdoms. So when you're saying we was kings, it is a direct insult, and it's like and then you're trying to call us racist when all of history, well, not all of history, what am I saying? since for the last 500 years we've been enslaved. I mean, we've had Jim Crow against us. We've had all kinds of shit as African Americans that we've went through. And then we didn't even, coming into America, we knew who we are, but 200 years later we had no idea who we were. We weren't allowed in schools. We've been through the worst, and you're trying to tell us we are the ones that are being racist when we are just discovering our African history. And let's not forget that North Africa is on the African continent, on the African plate, and the first people that would have inhabited North Africa would of course have been black people hundreds of thousands of years ago. I mean, you can't go from East Africa to the Sinai without passing through Egypt. I mean, what are you even talking about? That I even made a video, the last video I made shows that there have been human tools, 300,000-year-old human tools, you know, in Egypt. All right? And there was also a river that passed through the Sahara. And there was a mother and her children found, and their remains found deep under the sand. And guess what? They had African features. I mean, so you're trying to tell us from all this stuff from Jebel Irhoud all the way to that, you're trying to tell me that there were never North African blacks? We were the first North Africans. North Africa is the single hottest place on the entire planet. So if we went from East Africa to the Sahara, we would have never gotten lighter skin. That shows that the Berbers who are from the Sahara, that shows that they have been Caucasianized by all these groups coming in. They came by all these groups coming in. You know, let me just bring up something else. I mean, you have the Berbers, right? Who they're trying to say, oh, these are Caucasian Arabs, right? But you have many Berber people that are still black, and you're trying to, and then they want to say, okay, well they're just mixed with slaves. I mean, the Berber script, the Proto-Saharan script, is a Berber script, and it goes back freaking almost 10,000 years. But yet you don't ever hear about that script. I mean, you never hear about that. I mean, are we not gonna, like, you guys want to hide history from us, and when we figure it out, you guys are like, oh, this is Afro mumbo jumbo information. No, and the fact that you and your fans in the comments call us Negrocentrics, and then you like that, and then you like it and heart it, shows how much of a racist you are. I mean, the fact that anytime you talk about history in Africa, you always got to compare it to Europe or Asia, and then be like, oh, well, they must have got it from somewhere else. Anytime you talk about, like, the Nubians or anything, oh, they must have got that from somewhere else. Like, that is a racist thought yourself thinking that, because you're just saying that Africans couldn't do the same things that Europeans did, even though, look at Dar Tichet civilization. That was the oldest known West African civilization ever. It started around 2500 BC. And, you know, you got Kerma, you got all these civilizations. And what is the oldest European civilization that you can think of? The Hittites, I mean, they're Middle Eastern. The Mitannites, no. I mean, the Greeks are the oldest, man, which go pretty much to 1000 BC. They're AD. There weren't even kingdoms in northern freaking Europe up until after the birth of Christ, after the death of Christ, as I should say. So whenever you talk about we was kings and make this joke and try to mock black people, just know what you're talking about, because most of you, including you, 7 Phoenician 7, I commented on your video and I want to debate you. I want to debate you. So if you see this video, I want to debate you. So whenever you watch this, yeah. So anybody that is watching this and likes them, and that spreads this racist comment, I mean, just understand what you're fucking talking about. This is controversial signing out. Peace and know thyself.